Hello, fellow YouTubers. LegoWC Star Motioner here. Welcome to viewers new and old. And today I will be reviewing Transformers Legacy Blitzwing, a review that I didn't ever think would be coming. I've been talking about this a lot recently, but just to recap, back in 2022, when I made my list of worst Transformers of the year, I put this guy on the list, even though I never got him. And the reason I did that is because I really like Blitzwing and I wanted a new update for him, but then I saw this figure and I wasn't really that impressed with it, so at the time, I skipped it. And then here recently, we started getting listings for an 86 one. And I thought, well, maybe it'll be a new mold. But, that turned out to not be the case. And that wasn't super surprising. But, I wanted to stick it out just in case that was a new mold. So I decided, well, I got to have a Blitzwing in the collection since he's one of my favorite G1 Decepticons. And there is absolutely no reason to get the 86 one when I can get this one, whose colors are totally fine, in my opinion, and it's significantly cheaper. So that brings us to where we are now. So starting things off in the jet mode, just covering the weapon storage, just since I just feel obligated to mention it. Stick the sword on here. I have the guns stored on the sides. The gun storage, I don't hate this because it doesn't make the jet mode look any worse than it already does. So the fists on the back, yeah, I'm just mentioning this because, again, I just feel like I should give a full review of the figure. As soon as I'm done reviewing this figure, these fists are probably going to go down somewhere and will never be used again for the rest of time. So I'm just going to go ahead, set them off to the side for now, and close up the thrusters on the back. But yeah, this jet mode is what really turned me off with this figure back when I first saw it, and it's still pretty bad. I think the coloration and the sculpted details are nice. I like the nice translucent cockpit, the silver nose cone, some Decepticon symbols, some yellow stripes thrown throughout. It's just when you get to the side, you just got so much tank kibble hanging off the back. And, this isn't uncommon for Blitzwing figures, but I've seen it done a lot better than this. It does have landing gear, though, so, that's something, I guess. I could be doing something wrong, but I'm not even able to get him to sit perfectly with, the landing gear. He always leans forward a little bit. I could be doing something wrong, but I don't know. It seems like I have everything together. So, yeah. Jet mode is... It's bad. It's really bad. And just for some proof that I've seen better Blitzwing jet modes, I went ahead and got out the animated one. And yeah, this jet mode is also kind of bad, but I don't know. For some reason, the tank treads on this one don't bother me as much. I don't know. Maybe it's because it looked like this in the show. The only difference is that the treads were more collapsed and still made the jet look more sleek. Yeah, for some reason, I don't hate them as much on the animated one. Maybe I'm just more understanding because this is a cartoony design, which is complicated to turn into plastic form. And also, the line didn't have the biggest budget. I don't really know. For some reason, I just don't mind this as much. Now, functionally, it is a mess. Things do not peg in. This one is definitely a lot more solid, so I will give it that. Then I went ahead and cracked out a figure I have not messed with in a while, the Thrilling 30 Blitzwing. Again, this one, a lot of the kibble is on top of the jet, but I feel this jet just still looks a lot better overall. It still looks more sleek, less clunky. Again, this one does kind of have tolerance issues still, like things kind of flop around or parts don't peg in. This figure as a whole is very flawed, but I don't know. If the jet mode looked more like this on the Legacy figure, I wouldn't hate it. And then for fun, just to have the first two Decepticon triple changers together, or actually just first two triple changers, period, went ahead and got out the Siege Astro Train, who I have also not messed with in a while, but I was able to get him back into his shuttle mode. That always makes me feel good. Just thought it'd be fun to do since this is the most recent generation's Astro Train. I know there's been repaints of it, but still, this mold is the most recent one. They've never felt the need to update it since then, which I'm very glad about. Very glad about. But anyway, that's the jet mode. Yeah, there's just no other way to put it. It's bad. There's maybe some things I like a little more about it now that I have it in hand, but still, it is a pretty bad jet mode. And I've seen some bad jet modes. So let's just get him out of his misery and turn him into a tank. All right, so first things first, go ahead, take the guns off. And I'm gonna go ahead, just open up the bottom of the cockpit here, flip the nose cone in, and then fold up the landing gear. Go ahead, untab this down here, and go ahead and just undo the whole bottom section. Just get everything untabbed. Then untab this section right here. Flip this assembly up. Just kind of out of the way for now. And go ahead, fold these sections up, tab them into the sides. And we're going to go ahead and work on the legs. So go ahead, disconnect them, flip these down. Then go ahead, fold the wings up. There's a tab right there that's going to go into that slot, like so. And then these parts together form a tab that goes into that slot. Takes a little convincing, but just get that in. And there's a tab right here that goes into that slot right there. Doesn't peg in the best, from what I can tell, but it still works. Still functions. Do the same thing on this side. You go ahead, tab the legs together, and then flip these up to get them out of the way. Now just go ahead, collapse everything here, and then hinge this assembly forward. See, there's some tabs that come out right here. They go into those slots right there, like so. Now go ahead, fold these out. These are on double hinges. I'll also tab in the, see, there's some tabs right on either side here that go into those slots. And then this is a little tricky. There's this tab right here that goes into that slot and one here that goes in there. Getting it perfectly lined up can be a little difficult, especially because you're having to like push it in from the inside, if that makes any sense. But it's still doable. Just go ahead and fold this down, flip this around, just go ahead and close it up, and do the same thing on this side. Like so. You go ahead, flip this around, close it up once again, tab that back into place, then go ahead, open this up, flip the turret out, close it up, rotate it, and there we have Blitzwing in his tank mode. Alright, so just going to go ahead and get weapon storage out of the way once again. First off, just take one of the big fists. There's a peg right up there. It's going to go into that hole. So just go ahead, stick it in there. And then there's a slot right here that this tab right here is going to go into. So go ahead, just plug it in right there. Then do same thing on this side. Like so. And then the guns, just kind of wherever. I'll go ahead and plug them in back here for now. Then the sword, I'll just go ahead and slap it on the top. There's your weapon storage. Definitely better than the jet. I actually don't hate the sword on top of the turret. And for me, this is easily the best utilization of the fist, because they do look like cool, kind of cool, deployable, like rocket launchers. Still won't be using them for this mode, but as far as their implementation in this figure, this is definitely how I like them best. But still, I'm going to go ahead, just take all this stuff off. So the tank mode, it's definitely better than the jet mode for sure. I think the detailing is nice. Got a nice Decepticon symbol on top of the turret. The turret does rotate, which I'm always good with. Can go up. Goes up too far, it's going to open the hatch up, but still, not bad range on it. Does have thrusters on the back, but I'm okay with that. Cockpit sticking out the front, though. This is a case of taking accuracy too far. This is how he looked in the G1 cartoon, but that's not inherently a good thing here, because it's not a great look, that's for sure. I don't love it, but still, this jet kibble is way more mild compared to the tank kibble on the jet mode. I don't think he's really moving okay. I don't know if all the wheels are rolling, but it works well enough. So rolling is all right. For comparison, here he is with the animated Blitzwing's tank mode, which is a mode that I've always loved. It's just so cool looking. And then here he is once again with the Thrilling 30 Blitzwing in his tank mode. And honestly, I don't know. Well, I think Thrilling 30 Blitzwing maybe has less of the jet kibble. This one does look better. I think it's mainly the turret. I think the turret on this one looks a lot better than the one on the Thrilling 31. Just the way it comes together looks more clean and neat. Even though this one doesn't have the cockpit sticking out, I don't know. I think I do like the tank mode better on the Legacy one. And then here he is once again with Siege Astro Train, this time in his train mode. So tank mode overall, it's not too bad. It's not great. I don't love certain things about it, but it's way better than the jet mode. So yeah, not too bad of an alt mode. But let's go ahead and get him into his robot mode, because that's really where this figure is at his best. So first off, go ahead, just open this up, put the turret in, close that up, and then go ahead, flip these out, go ahead and flip the the treads around, close those up, go ahead and untab things here, go ahead and lift up the turret assembly. Then there's a tab here that's just going to go into that slot. Close that up and do the same thing on this side. There we go. Then go ahead. Oh, first, let's go ahead and untab on the back here. Then you can go ahead and open this up. Fold this assembly forward for now. And go ahead, open this section up. Flip cockpit in. Close that up. And then hinge this section forward. And then go ahead, just collapse this to form the chest. And then rotate that and collapse the turret. Then the legs, disconnect them. And open this up. And then just extend them. Close it up. And then just close this back up. Same thing on this side. And then put this down, rotate this assembly, then flip the wrists out, and then close this up. I do wish these kind of pegged into place, but they just kind of rest there. And then same thing on this side. Get everything situated on the arms. Go ahead, open up the feet. Make sure they're open all the way. to the back heel. For some reason, doesn't like to go up all the way sometimes. Anyway, when all is said and done, there we have Blitzwing in his robot mode. Now I should mention, the instructions do actually tell you to have these hinged forward for the robot mode, but honestly, I like that look better. I just think that looks more clean. But anyway, taking a look at the robot mode, really like that head sculpt. Nice red visor, silver for the face and the yellow helmet, a little bit of red on the forehead there. Got a nice Decepticon symbol, some yellow. Are those supposed to be intakes? I don't really know. And some silver thrown throughout. Of course, really dark purple when he is traditionally supposed to be a lighter purple, but as I mentioned before, I tend to like darker shades of colors anyway, so that is a creative liberty I am totally fine with them taking. Now the wings on the back are fake parts. This figure, he's got fake parts to spare. There are a lot of fake parts on this figure. I'm not the biggest fake part hater, but they're not my favorite either, and I think a lot of them probably could have been avoided. But just the overall aesthetic of the robot mode, it looks pretty good. This really looks like Blitzwing. Now for his accessories, I'm going to talk about these one last time. Go ahead and pull these out. And then go ahead, let's see, yeah, peg this in, rotate his fists. Then there's like a little kind of slot right there that's made to go on here. So just get this situated like so. And I think the hands are meant to grab onto the pegs in there, I think. But yeah, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Am I supposed to have it like this? Yeah, there we go. That seemed to work. Okay. And then same thing on the other side. Let's rotate it in like that. And get everything lined up just right. Let's see. There we go. Nope. There we go, I think. They don't seem to be fully on, and I don't really care. These are... I don't think I'd mind them as much if it wasn't for the fact that I know these were thrown in just to drive them up to the later class price point, and just that they're accessories I don't care about at all. If that wasn't the reason for them and they were just thrown in, which again, I'm not too upset because I paid less than leader class price for this guy, getting him on eBay, so I'm not too upset, but yeah, I just really don't care about these. The wrist swivel, these fingers are articulated, and that is most likely the last time I will ever do anything with those fist things. Now for the weaponry that does actually interest me, he's got two guns, which I think look pretty good. He's also got a sword that's got some nice silver on it. How I normally have him look is holding the gun in one hand. He's got some pretty good storage on the back here, so I just put this gun here and have his sword in his other hand. And he's armed up and ready to go. Not a bad look. So getting into his articulation, head is on a ball joint, can look right, left, up a decent bit. Now, part of that's because of the transformation, but still, I like that. Not really any down. Some decent tilting. Shoulders, this isn't really my favorite type of shoulder design because it's kind of limited. You get some forward movement, not really a lot of back movement out to the side. You get a bicep rotation. These are coming undone. You get an elbow bend, which looks like it's a smidge over 90. He does actually have wrist swivels, which I'm quite surprised by because I feel like a lot of times when the hands fold in like this, Hasbro just says, we don't need to worry about the wrist swivels. They'll understand. Yeah, we don't. He does have a waist rotation, and the hip skirt, thankfully, is designed so these parts move individually. So you can have one leg go forward and one leg stay straight without looking weird. And get some back movement. They can go out to the side. You get a thigh rotation, a knee bend over 90. I like that. And ankle pivot, I guess toe and heel articulation. So articulation on this guy, aside from the shoulders, not bad at all. Pretty good, honestly. And here he is once again with the animated Blitzwing in his robot mode. And man, look at the size difference between these guys. Even if this guy was a Voyager class like he probably should have been, he still would have been small when compared to when this guy came out. And then here he is with the Thrilling 30 Voyager Blitzwing, once again, significantly smaller than the Voyager from years ago. And here he is with Siege Astro Train. I like how these two look together. And with all that being said, I think that about does it for this figure. So, I'll go and stick him on the display and get my final thoughts. Alright, so there's Legacy Blitzwing with my Season 2 Decepticon display and Devastator. So, at the end of the day, do I really think this figure was worth putting on my worst figures of the year list? Not really, and I kind of expected that going into this. He's not bad. Again, I was just more upset because I thought they could have done a better job with him. And I do still think that, but the figure itself is pretty solid. Jet mode is really bad. I really don't like the jet mode. Tank mode is okay. It's accurate in some of the wrong areas. Having a cockpit sticking out the front is accurate to the G1 cartoon, but that does not make it good. Robot mode is definitely the saving grace of this figure for me. While I do have issues with how the shoulder articulation is structured and some of the panels on the arms not securing anywhere, it does look really good, and it poses pretty well for the most part. I don't love all the fake parts that this figure makes use of, but the overall aesthetic of this figure is pretty much everything I'm looking for in a G1 Blitzwing, at least as far as the robot mode is concerned. So, if you are wanting a G1 Blitzwing for your collection, just the one that looks best, at least in robot mode, I do recommend this figure. Please do not get the 86 one. The 86 one is so lazy. Let's just all get together and make that thing sell horribly. I mean, this guy sold horribly, so the 86 one probably will too, but let's make the 86 one shelf warm. Because if you want to get a version of this mold, yes, the 86 one might have those slight color differences that make him all the more cartoon accurate, but these are still basically the right colors. They look totally fine, and you can get this guy way cheaper. You can get him on eBay in about the $30 to $40 range. That's about how much I paid, compared to the 86 one, which you're going to be spending $60 for. So please don't get the 86 one. If you want to get Blitzwing with this mold, just get this figure. This is definitely the better option. So that's my thoughts on Legacy Blitzwing. This is kind of fun to look at a figure that I judged harshly and never even got. It's kind of fun to see what I thought of him. Again, it's better than I initially thought he was going to be, which is what I expected, but my issues I have with the figure looking at him do still stand, but it doesn't ruin the figure for me. It's still pretty good for the most part, just it's got some issues. But of course, that's just what I think of the figure. Please let me know what you think of him down in the comments. And if you like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and God bless.